Hello friends, this is Ganesh and video number 2 on OData short videos. In this video, I'm going to explain about the define method. So define method is a part of MPC extension class of your OData project, and OData is classified into two different set of classes, MPC and DPC. MPC is a model product class, DPC is a data product class. Model is nothing but design. So the methods which is coming under MPC class is going to be execute mostly for your OData design, like initiate your entity set, create your entity set. So whatever we are creating SEGW, the backend, it needs to be generated the code, right? So most of the design codes are coming under your MPC class. And DPC is the data product class. Most of the data manipulations are happening in the methods which is coming under DPC. Create, update, delete, get the information from database table and pass it to the UI application. So most of the data manipulation things are happening in DPC. And MPC is only for design level. So creating our entities, data set, and so on. And now, most of the projects which you create in OData probably handling with the data, so get the information, display it, add it, and everything. In some scenarios, we have to overwrite the default design of your OData project. So in that case, we have to redefine this define method. Okay. So it depends on your scenario only, we have to redefine it. I will show you how the define method is originally generated for your project, and the another one is how we have to redefine it, depends on your requirement. So that is the idea of this particular session. So I'll take one particular scenario. Instead of designing in the ACGW, I'm going to do it in the code level. Okay, so very simple one. Okay, let's take into the slide first. And another point you might be noticed, sometimes we kept a breakpoint in the define method, but if you execute from the UI application or from your SAP gateway client, sometimes it triggers, sometimes it not. Okay, so I'll give a reason as well as the solution for that. So first get into the slide and a few points about define method. So define method is the first one, is it's a part of MPC extension class. You might aware of it. So MPC class is basically for your design model. Model is nothing but design of your SEGW or OData project. And all the design related code execute only once, meaning whatever the method or whatever the code is going to be under the MPC class, it's execute once, because this is a kind of a design. There is no change in the design, right? So unnecessarily, that's what it's actually made. Unnecessarily, every time it's not required to go to the MPC class and get the information. Instead of that, second time onwards, once it's executed, it's going to store in a cache. And second time onwards, it will take the information from the cache. Probably, maybe the performance issue they made it in that level. So that is the one of the reason why your debugging is not stopped. So first time if you execute any of your OData service from SAP Gateway client with a breakpoint in your define method or any method is coming under MPC, it go and stops there. And second time if you execute, it won't, because the information was stored in cache and it take the information from the cache. It's not actually going to an MPC class and method and trigger the code. Okay, so that is the reason most of the time, because it's executed only once, most of the time the debugging not stopped in your define method. I will show you what is the solution for it. And another point is define method is generated for default OData project design. Exactly. So define method, if you, I'll show you the define method also, how it got generated. Inside, whatever informations you are providing as an entity type, entity set, everything is coded in this define method. So create entity name, whether it has a key field or not, it has image or not, it has a mandatory or not. Every option you have a method on it. It automatically generated in the actual define method. Okay, so define method, I can say it's a heart of your project. So every design is going to be happening in your define method mostly. And need to redefine if you need to additional requirement based on the need. Always remember, if you're going to change anything in the design level, then only define method to be redefined. Okay, a simple example, you can take a selection screen. Okay, so selection screen in our normal selection screen, in some scenarios we don't want to set a particular input field as a mandatory. We are not going to use the word called obligatory. Instead of depends on the user input, I want to make this as a mandatory. Okay, so for that we normally use the event either at selection screen, and you can use loop at screen. Based on the user input, I'm going to make a decision. Yes, this input field is mandatory. It's not going to open mandatory option, so it's based on the user decision. So there is a design, and the design is going to be determined based on our need. So the same thing I'm going to make it in the define method also. I'm going to create a OData project with the basic define method. Okay, I'm going to take the example of my previous video on media handling, OData service media handling. Mostly you have seen it. And there is an option called media checkbox. It's got selected. So now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to select that media select box, but in the runtime, I'm going to do it by redefining my define method. Okay, so that is the idea. So I'm going to change the design of my project at the runtime based on my requirement. So that is the scenario I'm going to take. This is one simple scenario. So if you recollect deep entity set, we have redefined it, and another information also we have redefined this define method. Okay, so depends on the need, you have to redefine it. So whenever you have to redefine it, instead of simply writing the code, so the idea is this is not the part of a design, so I need to make it at the runtime. That is the only reason I'm going to redefine my define method. So codes are very simple, no need to copy paste it, just understand and just make use of it. Okay, so then it's very easy to implement in your future projects as well. Okay, and I think that is the most of the things I covered. Yes. Okay, I'll show you this in my system. Okay, let me go to my system. So here SEGW, I'm going to use the same my image concept, media handling only. GJI define method local object. Okay, then I'm going to add or import my DDIC structure, which is what the name is. Okay, I can say picture, and this is going to be ZJI Z image. It's at my database table. Okay, it has 4 feeds. Is going to store my informations, picture informations. So picture, and I want these are the structures of that particular field. So you can do manually also. It's fine. And next is what are the key fields? I want these two to be the key fields, mandatory and file name, and click finish. So this is normal, nothing much. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, if you go to the entity type, there is an option called here, media. Okay, so let me select it. Okay, I will show you how the actual define method is generated for this design, and then I will just come and take out of it, and I'm going to do it manually. Means in the coding level, I'm going to enable this checkbox option by redefining the define method. Okay, so let it be. Let me act toward it, like generate the runtime artifacts. Excuse me, local object. Is done. So let me go to runtime artifact. It's going to be MPC extension. I'll show you the define method, how it's got generated. Go to methods, inherited methods, define. I'm in the MPC extension class. So this is the name which I have given, my namespace. Okay, and then define picture. So just double click. These are the names which just got it from the name whatever I have given in my project. Okay, so these are some declarations. We are going to make use of this in my redefine option as well. So here they mention very clearly, create the entity type for the entity called picture. Okay, and there is one flag. Yeah, entity, these are any default entity set. So they mention no, above false. Okay, so I didn't opt for that. And then they mention very clearly set is media is X. Okay, and then they created one by one, field by field they have the code. So property name is entity. Is it a key field? Yes. and what is the data type, what is the length, and is it creatable, updatable, sortable, nullable, everything is false. Every checkbox has a method on it, okay? And then the Unicode information is also they maintained it. So this is going to be happening for every field of your OData. And OData entity properties. So this the next one is a file name. File name is also a key field. And next one is the value. Value is not a key field. Okay, and I mentioned it's a different data type. So this is actually EDM string, and this is a different data type, EDM binary. So this is the way the define method is going to be generated for your OData server. So here it's only 4 or 5 fields. Suppose you have 25 fields, your define method is a very bigger one. Okay, so now the idea would be I'm going to take out the media option from my SCGW project. So what happens once you remove the option MENT checkbox, then this line will be deleted. Okay, I'll show you. Just go back, go back, go back over here and go to excuse me, your entity, remove this and regenerate it. Done. Once again, go to MPC class and go to your method, excuse me, define picture. There's no change here, and here expecting that media line has got deleted. Yes. So after this, after creating the entity, that is gone. That particular media set line is deleted. So these are related to design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a service. I'm going to execute it. While execute, I'll get an error. This is not a media link. That's what is going to error. Now I'm going to redefine. After that, I'm going to redefine this define method, and in the runtime, I'm going to make that option enabled. Okay, let's see. So creating a service and all, it's you know about it. So I don't want to waste your time. So I just go a little faster. Hope you're able to follow. Service maintenance. I'm going to create a service for this. Go to register. Either you can go with another transaction, maintain service transaction, or from here also you're able to do what. And local object, continue. It's done. So if it is a green status, you are good. And I'm going to execute it. So it will take me to the another transaction in a new window and go to here. Yes, and entity set, pictures set, and how to call the media. You have to use what do you call the parameter, the addition option called value, dollar value. Dollar value will trigger the media related method. I think I'll get another error. I'll show you because that media related method get stream is not implemented. I hope I'll get an error. So dollar value which defines, okay, this URI has a media information and it has to trigger only stream related method like get stream, create stream, update stream, or modify stream. So people who are not seen my media handling OData service, is a little difficult to just map with that. Just go and have a quick look on that media handling OData video, and I'm going to execute it. So it's mentioned very clearly must be a media link entry. Okay, because I removed it. Okay, let me go. I think I started from there. Yeah. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to define it in the design. I'm going to do it in my code level. I'm not going to check this. So what I have to do is let me go to MPC extension class. Yes. And redefine it. Excuse me. Okay, before redefine, I need few codes. Let me take out that. Define picture. And you have to be very careful while redefining the MPC class method, especially define. If there is any mistake, I'm not talking about syntax error or nothing. So if there is any mistake while using the methods, and that will reflect in your SAP gateway system, like SAP gateway client while testing. Okay, so whenever if you are redefine it and you are able to figure out some issues are happening over there, sometimes what happen if you say entity, if you click entity screen, entity button, it should no values found. Okay, so because the model got changed but it's not working as expected, so you have to check whatever you redefine in your define method. Okay, so little careful so it won't harm your system. So few things, I want this because this is the object reference variable which create the entity. Okay, I want this variable to be defined in my, one second, in my redefine as well. So let me, okay, I don't want to copy it. Okay, let me copy this. Okay, the same thing to be uh, using in my redefinition method as well. Okay, now go to redefine, right click, redefine it. So here I need to call, because that is the base, so I need to call the super define, and here let me have that variable. Okay, fine. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, this is already created. I don't want to create it because it's already created. So I need to set, so model, and I need to say get entity type. I don't want to create entity type. It's already done. So get entity type. The type name is, because I need a reference to make any change to the particular variable or particular entity type. I need a reference of it. So entity name is, the name is picture, picture. Done. So now what I had to do was entity type set, where is the media? Yes, set is media. Yes, X. Okay. So here in the design level, the media is not set, but I redefine the define method. I'm going to say enable the checkbox only at the runtime, not in the design level. Okay. So let's act toward it. Okay, done. I believe now my gateway should work with the same URI. Let's see. Go back. Service maintenance, SAP gateway, entity set, picture set, and two key fields, MANDT 800, file name 100. Dollar value. So these are the values which is in the database table. So I'll show you that also. People who are not seen my media handling video. Execute. Yep. So the media link issue gone. It shows get stream not implemented. This is the same issue where if you're not implemented, get entity set. Okay, so dollar value is going to trigger only this get stream method if you using the method HTTP method is get. If it is post, then it's a create stream. If it is a put, and it's going to be a update stream. If it is delete stream. So four different methods is needs to call, depends on your information. Okay, so now I need to, let me open it and define. So runtime artifact, define MPC extension, define MPC extension, methods, inherited methods, oops, sorry, DPC extension, methods, inherited methods, service runtime, and here, yeah, this is the method, get stream. Right click, redefine it. So it needs some code to get the information. Let me copy this because the same thing I have explained in the last video. I have copied from the previous project and paste it. Okay, so nothing big. Whatever I given information, mandatory and file name, based on that, it will take the value from Z image and put it in the signature, the export variable, and that comes to my UI application. I have to word it. Okay, let's go and executes. Yeah. So it's working successfully and hits 200. So if you click response in browser, the image, whatever the image is stored in the table, it's displayed here. So the idea of define is whenever you want to change the design level model or design level requirement, then you have to go and redefine your define method. So nothing much. And another one is debug your define method. So every time I want to stop for my testing purpose, I need the particular execution to be stopped in my define method. It's execute the first time, yes, it's stopped, not the all the times. So because the first time when I execute, all the informations, model informations are stored in the cache. On the next time onwards, all the model informations are retrieved from the cache, not directly from your MPC or MPC class methods. Okay. So to avoid that, we have to clear the cache before every execution. It's for a testing purpose. Okay. So now what I have to do was go to the define class, which called redefined, keep a breakpoint. Okay. That is the first step. So let me go here and keep the external breakpoint. Done. Come back to gateway client and execute it. Okay. So this is not the first execution. It's already got executed. And just click execute. It's not stopped. Reason behind us, this particular URI is already got executed. So the model information of this URI is got stored in the cache. So every time it's not required the model information to be retrieved from the base class and the method. It's always get from the cache level. This is for the quick response or performance improvement. And if this is the same thing, because the model is going to be changed very rarely, and if that is the case, what you can do is once the model got changed, just pass a message to the UI application or developer as well. They will clear the cache from their end. But as a developer, from backend developer, we need to test it, right? So what I had to do was I'm going to clear the cache from the backend side for the testing. Then only once the cache is cleared, automatically the control go and stops in my debugging in the breakpoint. Okay, let's see how to do that. For that, I need to get into the transaction for the maintenance and service transaction. And here it is. And get the service which you want to, what do you call the image, right? One second, am I going correct? What is my service name? Okay, CJI define. Okay, CJI define. So get the service which I need to clear the cache. Okay, define is there and go here. This is one of the way to clear the cache. Service implementation button, and here you have an option called cleanup cache. Just click it. It will show clearly metadata cache successfully deleted. Fine. Now go to SAP Gateway Client. The breakpoint is already there and execute it. Now it's go and stop in your define method. Okay, so extension define, this is the MPC extension, define method, it got stopped and executed. Done. One more time execute. Second time it's not stopped because again it got loaded in my cache. So this is for the testing purpose. Okay, so what I have to do is again do the cleanup in the cache. Done. Go back to your client and execute. It stopped. Okay, so this is a way you have to test your define method. If you want to just test something else in the inside the define method through a breakpoint, so this is the only option. Clear your cache from the backend side. The same thing, if there is any change in the model, we have to give the information to the UI side as well. Please clear your cache before calling this particular your OData service. Okay, so hope this might be useful for you, and just play around. If you have any doubt on this, please let me know. Thank you so much for your time. See you in the next video.